Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. My name is Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating. And if you're wondering what we're doing here, this cake right here is a lovely baked lemon sponge. We baked this right on a live previously, about like half an hour, 40 minutes ago. So it's the immediate live following this one that you'll see me here. And we made this cake, which we started the process. I talked you through everything. You want to check that video out, of course, after watching this. But the cake was baked warm and we couldn't put it together warm, and I couldn't also keep you waiting for the duration for which the cake was being cooled. So I had to go and come back. So if you're joining me in this live session, we are simply going to be putting together this 2-layered 8-inch cake, which is going to be filled with some lemon curd and some curd flavored Swiss meringue buttercream over here, and then we are going to cover that completely in this meringue and then torch it. Exactly what we are going to do. So this is a simple homemade bake that we are going to put together. So if you're just joining me from the previous live, thank you for being back here. I did say I was going to be back, but if you're new in the chat, hello there. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with me. So the recipe here, details are obviously on the live next. You can check that out. But this is rather simple. We are just going to, if we had baked the cake to cool on the live, we would have done it all together, but of course we couldn't do that, because if we had to put together a warm cake it would melt the buttercream. So this is a small cake stand that I have, a steady cake stand that I have, and I'm just going to layer the cake on it, because this is like a simple cake that you derive at home for friends, family, and stuff. I am not going to employ some of the technical details of decorating a cake, especially for stacked cakes and stuff like that. But if you want to see some of those videos, I have a lot of that on the channel already. But think about the cake you want to bake at home for your friends and family for dinner. You want it well presented, easy to do, but still great. This cake ticks the box for all of that. I have this leftover Swiss meringue buttercream, so we are just going to go straight ahead. We don't want to overwhelm the cake with too much buttercream, so there's just enough layers here for the buttercream. So I am just spreading the buttercream widely around here, and what I am doing is I am creating a dam in the buttercream so that I can fill some. Dolly, you are so sweet. You know what? I am thinking about how to do that, but I am very scared. There are people sitting in my inbox. There's Dolly, a friend of the channel, who talks to me all the time. I'm thinking of doing that, but I also don't want to overstretch myself a lot because there are still people in my DMs and in my emails who are waiting for responses, and people who actually want to pay me for stuff. And I'm over here dragging my feet, because between baking on a week where you don't see me on a live, trust that I am baking some serious cakes. So my schedule is so tight, it's hard. I have so many ideas, but I don't know how to execute them because I'm just one person. So that sounds like a fantastic opportunity. I'm thinking, can we transition to Facebook and do that? I don't know. But anyway, we have some sticky meringue here. The thing about meringue is that if you don't derive it properly, you put it, the point is we are not trying to make this cake into like a really fancy cake. In fact, if it looks a little bit not too perfect, it is purely by intention. Flora, you're back. Flora is from the previous live. Hi, Flora. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the compliment. So we are going ahead to cover this cake with the meringue. This is sweet meringue. So it's egg white that was cooked slowly over some heat. and we are just using that. So the point of this is we are not trying to do anything spectacular. You know what I wanted to do? I just thought the meringue could do with a bit of salt, and I didn't add salt, so it's a bit sweet because salt interferes with the meringue making process. You want to be careful. So I kind of feel like salt would have balanced it out a little bit, but I am not mad about that at all. So what I'm literally not covering it completely. I am just like slobbering the meringue all around the cake. Now, this is a really simple cake you can derive at home. For you. Look, there's not much to this cake, but it is, you know what? I am digging the offset spatula on the cake, right? Just so that I can dig some texture on it. But you want to be careful it doesn't dig too much into the cake. Yeah. Okay, Dolly, I think I will catch up with you on that because I'm also thinking about bake-alongs, you see. For those of you in the chat, we are discussing ideas to bring you value. I'm thinking of bake-alongs where you can actually undertake the baking session as a group with me online. But I'm just one person. And outside, cake consume a lot of my life, actually. I won't lie. If you ask my son, he will tell you that, Mama, if I'm not making cake, I'm a grumpy git. I am super grumpy. Now, this is me telling on myself. Like, if I'm not making cakes, like, oh, I am tired and overwhelmed and it can be difficult to manage. But I love cakes and I don't make any apologies for that. Yeah? So we are covering the entire cake in meringue. The more the merrier, because this is going to dry out anyway, right? Okay. So if you have no idea how to decorate a cake, sometimes the best idea to get a cake done is based on your weaknesses. Pick a cake that doesn't require a lot of decoration and then go for it. But here's what we've got now. This is the part that excites me the most. This thing right here. It excites the living life out of me. It's a torch, a blowtorch. I'm gonna torch the meringue so we can have some smoky meringue on it. So let's see how that goes. Oh, okay. I love the look of that. Except for some reason, it kind of like, right, that's a blowtorch. Look. It's a bit like a lemon, a baked lemon Alaska, if you like. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing or saying over here, but I'm loving what I'm doing here. Look. My kitchen smells amazing. Okay. If only you could see what I'm doing. Right now, I think what I want to do is just mix a bit of curd on the top a little bit, just so that there is flavor to that. Let's torch it some more. I am just excited to be torching this thing. Well, it looks like the fire is nearly done. Okay, and there we have it. So this is all we have. Lovely cake. It's if you're just joining us, let me just wash my hands. If you're just joining us, this is a lemon sponge, an 8-inch lemon sponge. It is filled with curd flavored Swiss meringue buttercream and some lemon curd, and then covered in a layer of Swiss meringue that is torched. Now, what does that look like? What does that look like? Right? So, moment of truth. If you're in the chat, what do you think? Would you make this cake? Leave it a thumbs up just to say, I would love to try this cake. And if you want, leave 2 thumbs up and tell us why. Maybe you're not a baker. Maybe this is not your kind of cake. I just want to hear some feedback from you. In the meantime, let's have a look at the cake before we cut into it, because we're going to be cutting into this cake and I am going to be eating a bit of this cake on your behalf. Okay? I am just excited. Okay? Right.
You can't eat the chocolate here because that's for cakes.
No, yeah, you can't.
You try and get Mama's attention.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry, chat.
That's fine. Okay. So that's our cake all done. If you want to see the top, I want to be careful so the cake doesn't slide off. But that's our cake done. So we're not going to be wasting time. Let's see if we can cut into the cake. Whose birthday is it? Is anyone in the chat who has a special occasion? So we can acknowledge that and then I'll eat the cake on your behalf. Well, I hate it, but this is the moment of truth. This is actually a freshly baked cake. It's a lemon sponge. Okay, so let's. Okay, now that is a cake, right? Anyway, let's get it on a plate. All right, let's dig in. For someone who didn't want to eat too much sugar today, hi Charlie. Right. There's a lot of talking in the silence of eating that cake and not saying much. It's amazing. Even if I say so myself. The Charlie, I'm all right, thank you. And you? Great to have you here. So let's take a closer look at the cake. You have 2 layers of 8-inch cake that is filled with Swiss meringue buttercream. Now, if you know anything about Swiss meringue buttercream, it's a meringue style or a meringue based buttercream that is not very sweet, right? You can increase the sweetness by adding some icing sugar, but you can keep it steady, which has like a very subtle and smooth mouth feel. In terms of sweetness, it's really on it's lower than the threshold of American buttercream, way lower, and has a great mouth feel. So with that, what I did was when I made the buttercream, I added 2 spoonfuls, like heavy spoonfuls of the curd. So it kind of balanced the buttercream out and brought a sense of richness and tangy lemon mouthfeel to it without being too overpowering. And then we topped that buttercream up with homemade curd. All of these I made in a previous video, live session. So you might just want to check that out. So the intention here was to make sure that the citrus is not too overwhelming, because for me, because the cake is obviously going to be tasted by myself, I just wanted it to suit my palate and preferences. And that is the plus side of an adaptable recipe. This recipe is super adaptable. The original recipe called for 4 eggs. I increased it to 5 and then changed some of the ingredient listing just a little bit to kind of balance off the flavors a little bit. And what we have here is a lemon cake that is not overpoweringly lemony, but it has just a punch of lemon flavor and zesty freshness to it that is amazing. The buttercream sort of brings a sweet balance without taking away the lemon, and the homemade curd brings a fresh, strong lemon appeal without being overpowering either. So all of that together, and then finishing it off with the meringue, which is torched. The meringue is almost like I wanted to add something to the cake that didn't add a lot of sweetness or tanginess to it. And in this case, I would have had to go for the buttercream that would have been too buttery and overwhelming. But I also covering it with meringue meant that there is a sweetness to the meringue, but it doesn't last. You know what meringue is like? Meringue goes on the mouth and then disappears, but then it has this sweetness. So when you cut through the cake, right? And you dig in, you have a selection of all these complementary flavors that kind of marries together and make for such a great mouth feel. I hope you try this cake. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Charlie, if you're fond of baking and you're just starting your journey, welcome. Welcome to the Baking Baking Bakers Association. It's fun out here. Over here, I derive a lot of live videos. So if you want to see some of these so that you can learn a lot from, you can check some of the live sessions where I am actually undertaking specific recipes and then talking you through everything recipe related. Actually, this cake was baked on a live prior. The immediate live before this is where this cake was baked. So you can check much of the information out. And actually, it's an adapted recipe from a lemon and blueberry cake that is also up on the channel. So you want to check that out. Ansari Zuba. Hi there. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So this is an adapted lemon and blueberry cake that I took the blueberry out and adapted it to become a lemon sponge. And it's amazing. I think I'm going to share it with my neighbors. But it's 8 o'clock. Most healthy people don't want to eat after 8. Oh, Mrs. Pretty. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. That's fine. I get it. Mrs. Pretty, thank you for being here. Okay? Charlie, thank you. You were so sweet. There is enough videos on the channel here if you're a beginner. But if you join the community here, you won't miss a session. And if you have questions, you can post them in the comment section and I'll be sure. I swear I promised today I was going to be healthy. That was a lie. That was a lie, okay? Oh, Mrs. Pretty, you're selling your cakes. Where are you selling your cakes? Is it at a market? Where are you at the moment? The sugar and the meringue on this cake. Who loves cake as much as I do? I love cake! I promise you, in my, well, I did say in my vlog video, which is yet to be edited, I was out here being super healthy, thinking I was going to be having blueberries, pomegranates, and shia seeds. Who was I kidding? Clearly, that wasn't true. But then, in all honesty, I didn't know I was going to be enjoying the cake. So that's a lovely cake to eat. All 44 people of you here, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good morning. Where are you joining me from? If it's your first time you joining the chat, thank you for being here. We made a lemon and blueberry cake, which we filled up. I have just indulged myself in a slice. It's amazing. Here is my plate. So you might just want to try this recipe out. I can guarantee you it's amazing. Okay. But if you have other baking related questions, you leave them in the chat so I can answer them for you before we get a move on. There's 49 people in the chat. If you could kindly support the channel by liking this video, that will be amazing. Oh, Charlie, I live in the UK now, but I'm from Ghana. I'm Ghanaian. I live in the UK. So, yeah, I'm Ghanaian, but I live in the UK. Man. Where are you joining us from, Charlie? And by the way, have you baked before? And where are you on your baking journey? Are you a complete beginner, novice, starting out, or you've baked before? Where are you? Intermediate, professional? And how did you come to the interest of baking? Is it something you've just found? Is it something you've always done? Joining from, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Velisha, is it? Village, yeah, Vilisha. Hi there. All of you in the chat there. Hello, 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 hi. There's Ansari from India who is learning a lot here. Thank you. There's Vilisha who says hello. And Charlie, I've just answered your question. I didn't see it earlier, but yes. So if you enjoy baking, you should try this cake out. A point though, so you know, this is actually a wet meringue. So if you leave it as I've done now, it's going to bleed, but this cake is going to go soon. So I'm not too worried about that. Okay. But yes, if you do make this cake, you want to be very careful because the meringue is likely to separate and then you'll have some bleeding from the meringue a little bit. But if you wanted to make like a solid dry meringue, I've been baking for a month. Oh, well done, Charlie. Charlie, are you in the UK? I am so glad your baking experience is going well. And oh, okay. Oh, okay, Charlie from India. Okay, Charlie, well done. So, what have you been baking, and what are your favorite things to bake? Between chocolate, vanilla, what is your favorite cake to bake? Oh God, I've had enough cake for today. This is me going on about how I want to be healthy, and then you put a lemon cake in front of me. God, that cake is so good. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, oh, my head is in the clouds. Right. So, oh, there's quite a few of you joining me from India, and I am so, so grateful to have you. There's quite a few of you that are just like quiet bystanders, and I really appreciate you. Okay, Charlie. Amazing. Amazing. Chocolate. Oh, everyone loves a chocolate cake. Oof. I love a chocolate cake, but it has to be a good chocolate cake though. Ooh, I don't like the spongy chocolate. I like a dense chocolate that is super chocolatey. I don't know. I just love a chocolate cake, okay? But I must admit, perhaps a lemon cake is now my new favorite. I don't know. I'm just a bit like wishy-washy when it comes to cake. A good cake would steal me any day. So I don't have particular loyalties, right? But here is the cake we made, right? So it's nearly 10 past 8. The intention was to put together the cake. Yes. Yeah, Charlie. Yes, of course. I have a baking business, and part of the business, an extension of the business, is obviously me over here on YouTube with you guys. Yes. So yes. If, Charlie is asking if I'm a professional baker. Yeah, baking is my profession now, isn't it? I enjoy baking. So, people, if you have many questions, other questions for me, leave them in the chat and I'll answer you. In the meantime, if I stay here, I'm gonna end up eating all the cake, and that will not be a healthy thing for me. But this is a recipe that I highly recommend. I'll leave the recipe details in the description box for you to check out. Oh, okay, Charlie, it's okay. You look, I baked for 4 years for myself generally before I even started to sell a cake. So please take your time if you have to. Just perfect your recipes. Make sure you've got a repertoire of great recipes that you understand. And yeah, because once you start selling your cakes, if it's a really good product, you will gain yourself some very loyal customers. Okay. But for me, this is the cake we made on the live. We've now decorated it, and I've eaten bits of it. So let's go and cut it up and share it. But for the rest of you in the chat, if you don't have any more questions for me, what have we got to do? Before we leave though, do me a favor. Do like the video so that YouTube can put it in front of other people. There are only 5 likes on the video. No. Just politely asking if you could consider liking the video. You're welcome, Charlie. You're welcome. Over here, the intention is always to interact and engage with you. And thank you for taking your time out to stay here and watch me, right? Because I'm actually living my damn life out here being so passionate about cakes. So it is really a blessing to have you also here with me today.